Hey guys, this is Blitztrack and this video is gonna be about callouts in PUBG Lite or PUBG Mobile. You can basically use these callouts in any version of the PUBG that you want. Now, as you guys know that callouts are really important for any competitive game, but they are extremely useful in PUBG because you're competing against so many teams at the same time. So I felt like I really should make a video about it. Now, these callouts are used by professional PUBG players all over the world. Now, you don't really have to use the callouts exactly that I am going to tell you in this video. You can certainly change them as you wish. It's just to give you a general idea how can you name certain places in the map. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna focus on areas near Pochinki because I feel like that is the most popular drop point right now in the game, and it also has a lot of cluster of buildings that are really hard to identify when you are in the mix of fight. Now let's just go over the names of the different buildings that would help you and your squad mates to coordinate properly when you are planning an attack on the other squad or you are defending yourself from the other squad. So the first area that we have on our screen is called Church. It's really easy to identify. You can clearly see that it really looks like a church, so there should not really be any confusion about it. Now the next structure that we have on our screen is called Tower. You can call it Visit Tower, some people call it Witch Tower. I just like to call it Tower, but you can certainly name it whatever you and your squad mates like. Then the next one is called the Glass Shack because it has a lot of windows around it, so yeah, it's just really easy to identify. Next up we have Watchtower because it looks like a watchtower, there's nothing really to it. The next place is called Shack because the same thing, it looks like a shack, so we're gonna call it Shack. Now coming to the next building, we can call this Shop House, or you can simply call it Shop because it has two shutters in front of it and it certainly looks like a shop that is built into a house. You must have seen it around your flats or somewhere. So yeah, we are gonna call this a shop house. I like to call this building the small house because it's so small, so there's no explanation needed here. Talking about this next house, I like to call it Open House because it is really open. There are a lot of open windows without any glasses or anything, and there is also a balcony on it. You're gonna see a lot of fights happening around this house because it's right in the middle of the hot zone. And what do we have next? It's called a one-story mansion or a single-story mansion because it's a big house. Come on guys, you guys can guess it. Moving on to the next one, we have a three-story building or triple tower, some people call it. You can call it whatever you like. You just have to make sure that your squad understand where the enemy team is. So yeah, that's that. The next house is called Old House. Some people call it Grandma's house. I just called it Old House because it has a structure that you gonna only see in like villages. I don't know, but yeah, that's its name. And moving on to the next structure, we have the Sniper Tower because I have seen this tower in every game and there is always a sniper on top of that. It had a sniper in Call of Duty, it had a sniper in Battlefield, so yeah, that's what we are gonna call this tower, a sniper tower. You can also call it a wooden tower, that would certainly be correct too, but I just like to call it sniper tower. So the next structure is called the two-story mansion. It's exactly like the one-story mansion with just an extra floor and a balcony. You can also call this just mansion, that is what I do while giving out the callouts. And I call out the other mansion just the single story mansion. Next up we have Hotel 1 and Hotel 2. You can also call them Palace 1 and Palace 2. This is the place where me and my squad lands most of the time. I just really like the layout of the map around this area, and so yep, that's that. You can call this Palace or Hotel. You can certainly change up the numbers too. It's completely on you, as I have said many times in this video, and now it must be getting a bit annoying, but I'm just gonna keep on stating that again and again until you get my point. Next up we have the most confusing building in my opinion on this whole map, which is called a T3 building, and I don't know why it is called T3. I just read it somewhere and most of the people seem to be using this name. It's like a mansion but a bit smaller, and it's a bit bigger compared to a two-story building. You're gonna mostly confuse it with a two-story building in starting, but once you start using the name, you're gonna get a hang of it. For you guys to understand properly, I'm just gonna show this building twice because I didn't do this for the other buildings because they were not that hard to identify, but this one is. So I'm just gonna show it twice on your screen so you really get my point. Now coming back from that awkward silence, next up we have the barns. You guys must have seen this building a lot all over the map, but it is also near Pochinki, so that's why it is gonna be in this video. And the next thing in this video is called a wooden shack, because it's just like a shack, it's just smaller and it is made up of wood. Moving on to the next building, it is called the garage house because it has a garage in it. You can clearly see sometimes there might be a car in it, sometimes there might be a bike in it, sometimes you just find nothing. That's the rule of this game. Moving on to the next house, it's called a two-story building, and you are gonna confuse this house with the T3 building most of the time because of the structural differences between them. Sometimes they look really identical from certain angles, so with time you will get used to it. Coming on to the next one, we have a single story house, and I don't know how to explain this. It's a single story house. So yeah, now sometimes it has that hut like shape on its roof and sometimes it's flat. That is the case with most of the buildings that you're gonna see here, so please pay attention to the details when you're gonna give the call out to your teammates. Coming on to the second last thing in this video is gonna be called a RV, and the last thing on this list is called a warehouse. You guys must have seen this structure all over the map, especially in Georgiapool, for which I'm gonna do the naming in some other video. Right now I just want to concentrate on the areas that are near Pochinki. Now that we are done with the naming of the structures, let's just check out how to actually give a call out to your squad mates. I think everyone is familiar with the compass that is given to you in the game that is right on top of your screen. Furthermore, you can also give a radio mark to your team by pressing Alt plus middle mouse button, or simply by clicking on to the middle mouse button to give a vague idea that the enemy is that way. So how do you actually use these building names that we have spent all this video learning? Well, you do have to use your compass while giving out the callouts. It's the most important part in the game, and then you can use the building name to specify a positioning of the certain enemy that you want to prioritize. Maybe because he is flanking your team, or maybe because he is out of position and your squad can get an easy kill on him. But in order to pull a strategy like this, your squad must have a really good coordination, and your callouts should be short and to the point. So for example, if you want to call out a certain squad or a player in a building, especially in Pochinki where there are so many buildings, because I have seen so many times people call out that there is one guy southwest somewhere there, it's not gonna work. So here are some few examples on how you can actually call out to your teammates in PUBG Lite. 2 enemies at northeast 40 in triple story building top floor. 1 enemy spotted 35 in mansion ground floor. And sometimes you do have the same kind of building close to each other. In situations like that, you can call out the color of the building with your call out. For example, you can say 3 guys spotted 225 red gray 2-story building ground floor. Or sometimes you do have identical to same exact buildings with same color close to each other. In that case, you can simply call them double 2-story buildings or double T3 building, etc, etc. Then you can, according to your perspective and your squad's perspective, call in the side that they are in the right T3 building top floor, or they are in the left T3 building ground floor. You always try to keep your call out short so your squad mates can actually hear what is going around them. If you drag your call out too long, that there is a guy coming from the left side, he is now here, he is now coming to that door, he is now coming to that window, that is gonna cause more confusion in your squad than it is gonna help you win that fight, because now no one can hear anything. You have to hear the footsteps, the gunfire, and some other squad that is trying to sneak up on you while you're fighting the squad that is right in front of you. Because let's not forget, it's a battle royale game and it is not a 5 versus 5 arena shooter. I hope this helps everyone, whoever is playing whatever version of the PUBG, because the buildings are kind of the same, and this video also applies to a lot of places other than Pochinki. In this game, same types of buildings are scattered around the whole map. You're gonna find the same building in Rozhok and some other places, which I will try to cover in my future videos. I hope this was a helpful video for everyone, and if you like the content, please do like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And with that, I'm gonna take my leave and see you guys in the next one.